Okay, I hope everyone got a chance to do what they wanted to do yesterday, catch up on work. If you're all caught up, then just maybe relax a little, run some errands, go to the dentist, whatever you needed to do. I went to the dentist. Good morning, Emily Chan. How are you? I went to the dentist. They just moved me from one dentist to another, got absolutely nothing accomplished. Or they were like, oh no, that guy has to do it. No, that guy has to do it. I just love it. I was just like, why can't somebody just fix my teeth? Oh, we don't want the liability if we do this. Oh, brother. I remember when a dentist did everything. When one dentist did everything. They did root canals, they did cleanings, they did everything. They got really into it. They'd be covered in blood sometimes if they did surgery. They did everything. Now it's just, oh, no, I don't do that. It's this person here. He does that one little thing. It's like, oh, God. Okay, Courtney Brown is here. Alicia Cologne is here. Let's see here. Alicia. Diana is here. Good morning, Diana. Diana Moore. And we have Drew. Drew here. Oh, can we keep that door open? It's so nice today. If you want to put in the chat, what did you guys do yesterday? How did you take advantage of your day off? Did you vote if you're 18? Did you know who to vote for? Were you confused when you saw the names and you were like, I don't know what this person stands for? And did you vote anyway? Aiden, Mrs. Misi, Mrs. Misi, when I got into school, Aiden, she handed me this envelope and had your name on it. So when I looked at it, it was my color sheets that I sent you. I think this sent you the first time, I think. So I hope that you corrected your address, because on that envelope that was sent to your old house, this lady or somebody wrote this whole thing on it. Like, I've been collecting your mail since June 2020 or something. So you better tell your parents, like, make sure that they forward your mail, because they might be missing out on some really important stuff. I hope their stimulus checks didn't go to that lady. Just tell them that there was a message from this woman or this person who wrote something on this envelope saying that she's been continuing to get your mail at your old address. Okay. Yeah. There might be some important stuff in there, like your diploma soon. So yeah, you want to get that. After the self-portrait, we are going to have one more project. And the last day to accept student work is the 28th, according to Mrs. Misi. Now, we have a few days to play with that, but I'm going to make my last day that Sunday after the 28th. I have to look at a calendar again. And I am going to have the color self-portrait, which I'm going to give an introduction to today, as your last thing, and then that's it. I'm not going to ask you for anything else. That will be your last assignment, a colored pencil self-portrait. Oh, God. I'm saying, oh, God, because that's my last assignment. You're only going to have a week to do it. But, I want you to just, I don't want you to go without having tried the colored self-portrait. And whatever it will be, because you're not going to have 2 weeks or 3 weeks to do that. Okay, you're just going to have a week. So let me get on with this. Malika is here. Let's see who else. Brittany Williams, is she here? Nope. Brittany. Oh, Brittany is here. Or is she? I hope you're there, Brittany. Jenna Wilson. Okay, Jenna Wilson. I don't see Jenna. All right, and Anaya Baker, is she here? Anaya? Yes, Anaya is here. All our R2s are here. Excellent, most excellent. So For the introduction to colored self-portrait, I see you. Thank you so much, Anaya. I wanted to share with you the work of two very distinct artists. They happen to be African American artists. One is a gentleman, one is a lady. And it's Kahindi Wiley and Amy Sherrod. And I wanted to show you their work, but before that, I have a little short video on Kahindi Wiley. I think it'll be really, really inspirational. I think his skin, the way that he paints skin, how he sees color on skin is just unbelievable. And the fact that he takes everyday people and kind of puts them up on these humongous canvases is also really different and interesting. It breaks away from this tradition of having portraits of people, of having important, royal, wealthy, upper class, only those types of people being in portrait. It kind of breaks and shatters that tradition. So I found that extremely interesting as well as he put African American people up on canvases in your face, larger than life. And for someone who has never seen that at that scale, it really got my attention when I first saw Kahindi Wiley portraits for the first time. I was so curious, and it was on CBS Sunday Morning. I don't know. Even as a kid, I thought CBS Sunday Morning is such an awesome program. Okay, here we go. Kahindi Wiley creates a paradigm shift in the art world. That is the name of the video. So I hope you enjoyed that little segment, and I wanted to show you a couple pieces that he has done, and so some of these pieces you have already seen in that the rest of that PowerPoint with you.
Miss Hunt, you're muted.
Oh. All right, so I have a PowerPoint, and I wanted to share a couple specific pieces that Kahindi Wiley did with Portraiture. You'll see some of the similar concepts that Cindy Sherman uses, such as taking a historical painting and then using that as an inspiration. It's a little weird looking, but she is, of course, in full makeup. She's dressed up as an artist type or a nobleman in a Western style portrait scenario. And the piece of artwork is everything. It's performance, it's photography, it's this whole scene that she creates. Now, that was Cindy Sherman. So this is, you saw this on the video, this is Napoleon leading the army over the Alps. Okay, so this was the original painting. It's a real famous piece historically. And then Kahindi Wiley's version. Slightly different in format, it's a square format, but it has this grandiose frame, similar landscape. This one, he has the horse, but also he has, instead of Napoleon, of course, it's this African American gentleman, just one of the guys that he met on the streets of New York who posed and agreed to pose for his portraits. And then he painted the same type of pose, and certain things are just pretty much dead on. Like the horse is the same horse. The rock here, I believe it still says Bonaparte on it. Certain things he kept the same. Other things he changed. He has the Timberland boots. He's got the camo outfit. There's a lot of little, he has a bandana on his head. Definitely more updated. But even that kind of references the hat. Here, he has this little piece coming up. References even this hat, that he has this little decorative piece here. So it's kind of mimicry but it's also kind of different. Instead of a landscape in the background, he chose to do this very, very decorative pattern, and it's a wallpaper pattern. I want you to think of this also. What kind of backgrounds Kahindi Wiley uses? Here's another one that they said that he was commissioned with by VH1 to do. VH1 is like the more adult version of MTV that they came up with years ago. I don't know if VH1 even exists anymore, but here's the rapper Ice-T. And of course, the original one was of Napoleon Bonaparte. And you could kind of see if something is similar or, something has been changed. Ice-T has the ermine cape. An ermine is like a weasel, and it's got this white fur. And that ermine is worn only by the emperor and kings of Europe. That was a very, very fancy fur. So here's another one where he has now this like signature background, and he chooses flowers and botanicals, but they're patterned in a way that it's almost like wallpaper at times. But if you look, I think this is a portrait of an English gentleman by Thomas Gainsborough, who was a British painter. Here, he has just an average everyday guy. He's wearing slides, sandals on his feet, wearing jeans, but he's making the same, very, very similar, I shouldn't say same, but very similar pose. Okay. He's sitting on a stool instead of this rock here outdoors, but he has this little, staff in his hand instead of the riding crop, but he's kind of referencing this historical painting here. You'll notice that the painting's background is now starting to come out into the foreground, and it's in front of his leg here and in front of the stool. So that's something to think about. I know the background isn't very three-dimensional looking compared to the figure, but you can certainly do that to be creative. I just love the high contrast on his faces. He makes the faces look very shiny on purpose so that you can really, where the light is coming from. You can see this muscle. You can see the light hitting this hand and on the arm here. And and then you have your very strong core shadows right next to the highlights. That's what makes the heads look so three-dimensional. This is a painting that I think was the first Wiley painting that I ever saw. And a lot of his flowers that he chooses them with great care. This flower is a passion flower. So if you've ever had passion fruit drink or juice, this is the beautiful exotic looking flower that, precedes the fruit. And the young man here is just posed like an odalisque. An odalisque, instead of having like a piece of draped cloth coming off the shoulders in a very seductive way, he's got his pants coming down. You see his briefs, which is like the hip hop street style. So, you guys know this better than I. You're so much younger than me, but he's just an average everyday guy, but he's posed like those European paintings of women laying on chaise lounge chairs. All right, here's a couple more Kahindi Wileys where I find that just the backgrounds are so incredibly dynamic, but you can see they're intricate. There's a lot going on, but you could still clearly see the figures. The figures are not wearing heavily patterned clothing. They're wearing solid colors in contrast if he's going to use a really, really busy background like this. And of course, he's got the design motif in the front here as well. The background is kind of coming alive and then growing in the front. And here's a detail. You know how in some paintings you get close and you see the kind of rough brush strokes? When you get into a Kahindi Wiley painting, you see even more detail. So it's amazing. Check out the shadow under the chin. Check out the shadow right here that's cast by the nose and the nostril on the side of the face. The real strong core shadow, and then this beautiful sky blue. You would never expect that color, but that's reflected light on this young man's face. Okay, see how he shades the lips to make them, look full and plump. And, how he shades the shoulders. You see the collarbone. It's not flat. There's in and out and contour, and areas of shadow. So even an area just like the shoulders has form and contour to that. Let's see how much time we got. This is over in about 3 minutes. Oh my gosh, I love the colors here. These colors almost vibrate. Why? Because you have orange, red, and you have this aqua blue, and orange and blue are opposite colors. And he knows this, and he purposely chooses that color scheme for this very dramatic portrait. And look at the pattern. Unbelievable. The colors just vibrate. And the way he does skin tone. You see how this part of this young man's face is in shadow. So this is a portrait of Mrs. Waldorf Astor. If you've ever heard of the famous hotel up in New York called the Waldorf Astoria, it was the hotel that belonged to this really, really high society, very, very wealthy gentleman. And this is his wife. And then he modeled this portrait, this pose right here, after this portrait of Mrs. Waldorf Astor. And this model is the same model as this model, Shantavia Beale. So this painting is actually named after the woman who is sitting for the portrait. I love the expression on her face. So think about having a kind of interesting expression on your portrait too. It doesn't have to look like that boring, driver's license picture. And here in the background, he has honeysuckle flowers. The flowers that just have this incredibly pervasive, very fragrant and sweet fragrance. Did he choose that on purpose? Probably. And then you can see right here a portrait of Kahindi Wiley with one of his paintings. You can see just how large some of these paintings are. This is a portrait of our past president, Barack Obama. This caused a lot of attention for Wiley because he was commissioned to do the portrait of President Obama. And here in this case, he puts botanicals in the background once again. But he chose the flowers. It's not just one type of flower. He chose the flowers from President Obama's home state. There's Hawaiian flowers there. There's native flowers of the U.S. Like he was was he a senator in was like a politician up in Chicago, Illinois. So I think he might have the state flower of Illinois in there. That's what I have read about this piece. So like I said, he chooses his flowers also for their meaning and their significance. Okay, and then that was the video. And we're running out of time, so I'm going to stop right here. And I'll share with you, in contrast, the work of Amy Sherald, and that'll just take a minute or two tomorrow. All right, period 3. I hope you enjoyed looking at the work of Kahindi Wiley, and I'll start to show how to do self-portraits in colored pencil starting tomorrow. Have a great day. We'll see you back for the dance concert today at 1 o'clock. Okay? Or 1:15, depending on what your advisor is going to do. Okay? And if you want to know the artist's name, I'm going to just put it down in the chat.